48 miles north of downtown Las Vegas, Nevada, on US Highway 95, is a wide spot in the road called Cactus Springs, Nevada. The Temple of Goddess Spirituality, dedicated to Sekhmet, is located here. We'll be traveling to the temple today for a virtual tour. 5 miles after passing the high desert prison, the road tops a small rise and enters a sweeping curve, descending into the small town of Indian Springs, Nevada. This is the home of Creech Air Force Base and is a notorious speed trap, so do please slow down to the posted speed limit of 45 miles an hour. Ignore your GPS. Stay on the highway and proceed through the town of Indian Springs. Move over into the left lane, because 3 miles down the road, you'll arrive at the wide spot in the road known as Cactus Springs, Nevada. There are 2 large billboards on the right side of the street and a grove of cottonwoods on the left. You can see the temple nestled in the cottonwoods off to the left side of the street. This first left turn bay will take you directly to the temple. The gate on this road is usually locked, so bypass this first turn, go to the second left turn bay, and that will take you to the temple guest house and the Priestess Residence. There is ample parking in this area. Please read and follow the temple guidelines, and it is always recommended to check in with the priestess before visiting the temple. The Priestess Residence is the yellow house off to the left. The guest house is over here on the right. The guest house is occupied today, so we cannot include it in our tour. Perhaps we can tour the guest house at a later date. The guest house can accommodate individuals or small groups. It is an ideal place to retreat, reflect, rest, and recharge. Reservations are required. A recommended donation of $20 per person per night is expected, but larger donations will be gratefully accepted. It has a fully functional kitchen, bathroom, and laundry facilities. Bring your own food, beverages, and linens. Drugs and alcohol are forbidden on temple grounds. The Pavilion is nearby the guest house. As you can see, we received a smattering of snow last night at the temple, just in time for our snow moon celebration tomorrow night. This is an outdoor venue that can be used for wedding or hand fasting receptions. The temple priestess is a minister accredited by the state of Nevada, so all weddings performed here are legally binding throughout the world. Hand fasting ceremonies are not legally binding, but do create a moral obligation for both parties. The pavilion is also used for potluck suppers before and after our full moon and Sabbath rituals. We enjoy the fellowship of good food and lively conversations between friends, both old and new. Celebrants contribute everything from veggie platters, chips and dip, pizza, cakes, cookies, homemade casseroles, and other tasty dishes. The only limits are your own imagination. Leaving the pavilion, we will follow a usually dusty desert path to the temple. Small solar lights line the path so that it is easy to navigate after dark. Take your time and explore the different works of arts that have been installed in this area. Sekhmet with the lions on the side of the shed here is one of the favorite shrines prior to reaching the temple. Before we arrive at the temple, we'll pass through another social area near the storage shed. It has a fire pit, benches, and hay bales for seating. Prior to most rituals, we gather in this area, create a smudge gate there at the footbridge for purification before crossing the bridge and climbing the hill to the temple. The temple was constructed in 1993. It was commissioned by Genevieve Vaughn to fulfill a promise she had made in Egypt to the goddess Sekhmet years earlier. The temple is constructed of hay bales covered with stucco. The arched entrances are oriented to the cardinal directions, east, south, west, and north. A fire pit occupies the center of the temple, surrounded by flagstone flooring. 7 copper rings form the open dome at the tops of the temple. They are filled with crystals intended to amplify the positive energy created here and radiate this energy throughout the world and the cosmos beyond. As we enter through the south portal, directly in front of us is the statue of Madre del Mundo, or Mother Earth. This statue was created by Marcia Gomez. It was first placed outside the Nevada test site as part of a peace protest. She was arrested and confiscated by the United States government. After the statue was returned to Genevieve Vaughn, she decided that this area was an ideal location to site her temple and counterbalance the negative energy generated by the test site and its weapons of destruction. She found and acquired this land, contracted the temple construction, and has supported it ever since. Representations of other goddesses from around the world occupy the niches and shelves located inside the temple. The original statue of Sekhmet that occupied this space was also created by Marcia Gomez. Sadly, she was stolen and destroyed by vandals in 2014. This current version was acquired and dedicated on August 14th, 2014. The Labyrinth is located just south of the temple. It is an ambulatory meditation. The visitor can travel the twisting, turning paths and eventually wind up in the goddess's arms. Kind of a microcosm of the journey many of us has taken to get here. The fairy garden is also nearby. This began as a bit of priestess whimsy and has continued to grow with tiny donations from visitors throughout the years. It is a small fairy community that will continue to grow. Beyond the Labyrinth is the Maypole area. Years ago, as spring was approaching, the temple priestess, Ann Key, wanted to celebrate a traditional Beltane ritual. There was no funding available to acquire a suitable maypole, but then one day while she and her husband were walking in the desert, they came upon a boat mast, but no sailboat in sight. They brought it home, and artisans carved it and varnished it, and it has been used as our maypole for every Beltane since. We hope that you have enjoyed our virtual tour of the Temple of Goddess Spirituality dedicated to Sekhmet. You're invited to come and visit in person and explore this sacred space at your leisure. We don't know how much longer Genevieve Vaughn will be able to support the temple, so we are trying to become self-sufficient. This YouTube channel could become a source of alternative funding, but we need to reach certain levels of subscriptions and hours watched to qualify for advertising revenue. Please subscribe to this channel, watch our videos repeatedly if possible, and share with your friends. You can visit the temple website by pressing the button in the header photo above. Bright blessings from the Sekhmet Temple Council.